We've had a good few solid releases of tactical and strategy JRPGs in the past year or two that proves that there's still an audience for this genre of games. So we've put together a list of 6 tactical and strategy JRPGs that were recently released in 2023 and 2024. So check it out.
Hey, this is Sean from Gamer Braves. It's been 8 years since we established Gamer Braves channel. We went to a lot of overseas game conference. We did a lot of exclusive interview with a lot of prominent figures from the industry, Ryuzo Sugimoto, Sean Layden, and even Yagu. One of the easiest way to support us is to subscribe to our channel. Support like this will actually gives us motivation and pushes us to produce better content. If you have already subscribed, thank you so much. Please enjoy the rest of the video.
Unicorn Overlord is easily one of the best tactical JRPGs to have come out in the past few years, with its stunning presentation by Vanillaware and likely the most in-depth combat system we've seen recently. There are various phases to Unicorn Overlord's combat. First off, you will start off in the battlefield, where you can see groups of enemies and allied units advancing from their base. These groups of units can move in real time, where you must be wary of the enemy's positions and the battles you engage on the battlefield. Upon encountering an enemy unit, you can engage in the next phase of combat, which will turn things into a turn-based combat that's automatic. The turn-based combat in Unicorn Overlord is very deep and complex, and it all takes place before you even enter battle. So you must assign the various skills, or as they call it, tactics, on every character beforehand. Here, you can force skills to be used based on a number of conditions, like for example, targeting the character with the lowest HP, use AoE skills when there's more than 3 enemies present, or use specific skills on specific character types, prioritize healing, target rows with more people, and so many more. It's insane. You can literally spend an eternity just optimizing everyone's skills to synergize with one another and pull off some crazy stuff. On top of that, all your characters have a front or back row position, giving various effects like being able to protect allies, or immune to certain attack types, and so on. The battle isn't over yet though. Every character has limited actions, so depending on whose unit has the lower percentage of HP, they will get stunned on the battlefield and be left vulnerable for a first strike attack. As you win battles, you will accumulate valor, letting you deploy other units from the base and add them to the battlefield. Or alternatively, use valor skills to change the tide of battle in capturing various outposts and bases. There's seriously too many mechanics to talk about in Unicorn Overlord, so it's best you try it out yourself. There's a lengthy demo you can try on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Switch. In this demo, there's plenty of time for you to have a taste of the tactical combat, and thankfully, your progress will carry over to the full game. If it wasn't obvious from the name, Persona 5 Tactica is one of Atlus's twists on Persona 5's turn-based mechanics, transforming Persona 5 into a tactical JRPG. The thing is, you don't need to play Persona 5 beforehand, although it is recommended. The story in Tactica is a slight divergence from the main Persona 5 story, taking place during the events of Persona 5, but ultimately not having a huge impact on the overarching story. Here, you will follow the Phantom Thieves and get transported to another world. As you can expect, this is Persona 5 as a tactical JRPG, with all the various mechanics from the actual Persona 5 game still present, as well as the charming UI and presentation of the game. Battle takes place on a grid, with a bunch of objects to use as cover. There's also various terrain gimmicks you'll have to take into account, like varying heights and obstructions. They can be a hindrance to you, or you can take advantage of them, like for example, pushing enemies into different places. Every skill you use has a range that is shown on the grid, including every attack you encounter, so lining up shots on multiple enemies feels really satisfying, especially if you make use of this triple threat attack. You can activate the triple threat attack if all 3 members of your squad surround the enemy, as if cornering them, and it will deal massive damage that really rewards your thoughtful planning and positioning. Of course, it's not a Persona game without the personas themselves, that of which will grant you various skills that have various affinities to deal effective damage. Overall, Persona 5 Tactica is a nice spin-off by Atlus, letting tactical and strategy combat enjoyers still have a taste of Persona if they prefer it over the turn-based combat. It is currently available on the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and Switch. With such an influential name like Fire Emblem behind its title, you know that this one will absolutely live up to the series' name. Fire Emblem Engage is the latest game in the Fire Emblem series, coming after Fire Emblem Three Houses, which focused more on storytelling of 3 factions and incorporated more daily life and social aspects to the game. As for Engage, it is more focused on the tactical and strategic side of combat, which is what the Fire Emblem series is known for. Like how Fire Emblem started, the combat in Engage takes place on a grid. Following the name of the title is the game's main gimmick, which are these emblem rings that you can put on any character and lets them be engaged. No, not marriage. So these emblem rings will raise their stats and give them more skills to use. And additionally, these characters with the rings can become engaged, where you fuse your character and the emblem into one, which is almost like a reflection of their personality and powers. They will be able to use special engage weapons and engage skills to unleash strong engage attacks. So as an example for the engage skills, you'll be able to move on more grids, which as you can imagine is huge for grid-based tactical combat. Besides that, there are skills where you can target more than one enemy, or teleport, or manipulate the terrain, buff allies and give them more turns, and many more. You can't use this all the time though, as this engage status only lasts for a short amount of time, and you'll have to build it up again. All of these emblem rings can be equipped on every single character, so there's a lot of experimentation for you to do. Overall, the combat in Fire Emblem Engage opens up a ton of unique strategies, especially with the emblems and engage mechanics. So whether you're a veteran or newcomer to Fire Emblem, this is a great addition to the tactical combat formula. Fire Emblem Engage is currently released on the Nintendo Switch. As we've seen with the previous games, combat for tactic games are often on a grid, so let's take a look at a tactical JRPG that strays away from this formula a little. Fuga, Melodies of Steel 2 is essentially an enhanced version of the first game, with a few new improvements and mechanics. The world of Fuga is populated by anthropomorphic cats and dogs, who dabble in a bunch of robotic technology and aircraft, one of which is called the Tyrannus, which is a massive tank commanded by 12 children. Combat against waves of enemies will take place on the Tyrannus. Each child will take turns using their abilities, with the 3 turrets available, which are a machine gun, a grenade launcher, and a cannon. The main goal is to deplete the enemy's defenses by using the correct weapons. There are multiple ways to pull this off, which is where the strategy comes into play. You can make use of special moves, affinities, status elements, link attacks, and something called hero mode, all of which are available at your disposal. After your battles, you'll be setting off on an expedition on the Tyrannus, on this map with a bunch of nodes, indicating a battle or a shop and so on, so you'll have to plan your journey wisely. You'll also get to choose various dialogue options that can impact your leader skills, which is something very important in battle. Outside of battle, Fuga 2 turns into a bit of a cozy game, letting you interact with other characters and take on some daily life chores. Overall, Fuga Memories of Steel 2 is a pretty charming game, while still incorporating a lot of strategic and management aspects to the combat. The developers have mentioned that it's not necessary to play Fuga 1 to enjoy Fuga 2, so feel free to pick it up. There is currently a PC demo on Steam and Epic Games, so you can give it a try before buying it. Besides that, it is currently out on the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PC, and Switch. Disgaea has been a long-running series, and the 7th entry, Disgaea 7, Vows of the Virtueless, continues that tactical and strategic formula in the modern day. The series is well known for letting you pull off some crazy stuff, easily hitting the damage number in the millions if you pull off your strategy right. Disgaea 7's combat takes place on a grid like many tactical JRPGs, and adds a few new mechanics never seen in Disgaea before, one of which is called Jumbification, which will transform your character into giants and lets you attack the entire field. One other goofy mechanic is the ability to carry and throw allies and enemies, letting you reposition as you need. Every character has their own weapon mastery, that of which there are 7 weapons. Keep using these weapons and you'll continue to unlock special skills that have various ranges, AoE effects, and so on. Every character also has access to magic spells of various elements, which can be used to exploit enemy weaknesses or target distant enemies as part of your strategy. There are a whopping 45 unique classes to choose from, all of which can be leveled to level 9999. So this level of power scaling is rarely seen in other JRPGs, which really makes the Disgaea series something unique and satisfying to play. You can create your party with whatever style suits you, like having an all-girls team, a full preenie team, a solo team, and so many more playstyles. Going in depth on all the various mechanics and how to hit millions of damage is way beyond the scope of this video, so figuring it out yourself is part of the fun. Disgaea 7 Vows of the Virtueless is out on the PS4, PS5, PC, and Switch. Jeanne d'Arc, the game, is a tactical JRPG that came out all the way in 2006 on the PSP. Almost 2 decades later, the game has been re-released on the PS4 and PS5 in 2024. The mechanics are basically the same, so the tactical combat is more on the classical side of things. You take control of Jeanne and her party, traversing across various cities of historical France, which is based on the story Joan of Arc. Prior to battle, you prepare your character's equipments and abilities. Despite being old, it has a lot of interesting mechanics like Unified Guard that rewards positioning your allies close to each other. Jeanne also has gems that can be used to super buff and transform your characters, like for example, granting her another turn upon killing an enemy, which can lead to some very satisfying chain kills. Adding to the movement mechanics is something called Burning Aura, which is a space where another character can occupy and attack for more damage. Aside from that, there's also this rock paper scissors type affinity system, except in this game it's called Sol, Luna, and Stella. Each battle has unique conditions to fulfill, like for example defeating all enemies or moving to specific places. And sometimes you also have a turn limit and you can't let Jeanne die either, so each battle you take has different objectives and therefore requires different strategies to overcome. Overall, Jeanne d'Arc is a classical tactical JRPG that has surprisingly varied combat mechanics that you wouldn't expect from 2006. Now that it has been re-released in 2024, it is the best way to try this game out, which is currently on the PS4 and PS5, and also on PlayStation Plus. And with that wraps up our list of tactical and strategy JRPGs of 2023 and 2024. There are certainly more JRPGs that really skirt the line of turn-based and strategy that aren't on this list, so do share some of your own picks. And are you looking forward to any tactical and strategy JRPGs in the future? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more future videos just like this one.